What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY in the overall markets. We'll talk about some very key levels to watch for as the market's showing some life during this pre-market session. And how things are looking, in my opinion. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000 more, you're guaranteed 30 in total. Not to mention 8.1% APY in uninvested cash. This offer has been extended until the end of March. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the markets. Right now, the market's in a very interesting place. We're seeing Tesla testing this resistance. And if we could break this, there's going to be an attempt to push into that 420 area and eventually back up to this imbalance at 424 and above. What else is interesting is we're seeing SPY and the QQQ now getting bought back up. So it looks like, we got this rejection that started yesterday, but then we bounced off our 200 EMA. Instead of continuing to dip, we're getting back above 595. And I did mention to you guys, if we had broken 595 on SPY, we're bullish. If we had lost 590, we would turn a lot more bearish. And if anything, buyers are coming back for today. And there could be a good reason why. So I just want to remind you all that we have on January 20th, that's going to be Monday. It's actually going to be on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We have Mr. Trump's inauguration. So Trump and Vance are going to be assuming the power, and they're going to be taking ownership when it comes to the changes that they have to make. So that's going to be going on. So I just want to give them congratulations, just let them know that this is going to be a big catalyst and a big day for the U.S. And I want to say that with this happening, this could be affecting the markets. The thing you have to remember about Trump is that he is more pro business, and this is going to have an effect on taxation, regulations, and factors like that. And it may affect the confidence that the market has. So I also want to mention that today is Friday, right? It's the last trading day until Trump is gonna be in power essentially. So the reason I say that is because the stock market is going to be closed on Saturday and Sunday, then also on Monday for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So after today, when today is done with trading in the stock markets, the next time we open is going to be Tuesday, and that Trump will already be president then once he is officially inaugurated. So that could have a big effect on the way the market's moving. That could be, one of the reasons why the market's holding up a lot better. And we'll have to see how this continues, at least as time goes on. We have some industrial manufacturing numbers coming out at 9:15 a.m. And besides that, there's nothing else that's too crazy in terms of our data. For news about Tesla, we did see some very interesting headlines. Now, one thing worth mentioning is the fact that 2025 is going to be built around autonomous vehicles and AI, according to reports. But some analysts from Barclays are saying don't bank on Tesla and things just like that. They're saying that Tesla is more like hype based when it comes to the way it's running, and they're also saying that although they're optimistic about AI, they think that it may take Tesla a lot longer than what people are expecting. I would argue like the opposite, because although you could make this argument, I do want to say that even if Tesla does end up taking longer, the hype, the excitement, and the fact that the market's very forward looking could have a big effect in 2025. So what I mean by that is we're in 2025. There's going to be a lot of talk and anticipation about what's going to happen in 2026, 2028. Tesla's robotaxi and factors just like that. So that could still help Tesla in a lot of different ways, despite the fact that it's different analysts have different opinions. So just keep that in mind. On top of this, I've seen this talk about how there's this new solar powered EV that could drive 40 miles daily using the power of the sun. And they're always going to bring up Tesla. I'm just going to give you an example of media bias. There's no point in bringing Tesla into this because Tesla has completely different technology, but the media has to say it's so much more efficient than Tesla, this and that, right? I'm just trying to show you how biased these headlines could be, constantly bringing up Tesla. And then on top of this, we're starting to see the Model 3 getting a lot more attention. I think the new look looks very cool with the Tesla Model Y Juniper. The new refresh is very awesome. And I think as time, time goes on, this will eventually enter the US. We're not officially there yet. This is more known for being in China and Australia. This will eventually hit Europe very soon. I'm seeing more talk about how this is going to be produced in Berlin. And then on top of that, as time goes on, it will eventually hit the US. That may take a couple more months, but I think that's still great news for them. As far as SPY goes, We have 1.5 million calls and over 3 million puts. So are the market makers going to try to squeeze shorts? Because as of right now, the market's trying to break resistance. So that could cause a short squeeze after all, if we could break some key levels. For earnings, I didn't see anything that was too significant, so I'm not going to go over the full details of these. We have SLB announcing earnings. They did relatively well. Good on revenue. They beat on EPS as well with 92 cents. So good job by them. And their full year guidance was above expectations. So good job by them. Just wanted to call that out. Besides that, there's nothing else too crazy with earnings. The market's back on track as we're seeing, some buyers stepping in. And the last thing is, don't forget, Mr. Trump is going to be inaugurated during the weekend. So this is your last day of trading until he's into power. So could that be a big factor that causes us to pump, or are we going to see a big pump approaching his inauguration, maybe even after it? And this is like the opportunity to get in. So there's always that possibility. So as far as Tesla goes, you want to break this trend line. If this breaks, we're looking for an attempt to get up to about 424. If we could break the highs we had from the Wednesday period, I think Tesla could break out for the 440 targets. It could be a big bounce coming because once again, with the deregulating that's coming under Trump's administration, Musk tends to tell us that that is more positive for Tesla, and that's what's getting investors very hyped up. If Tesla hypothetically loses support right here around 409, there would be that risk of 400. So make sure you keep these levels in mind. As of right now, it's favoring that Tesla is going to be, consolidating in this range and then eventually trying to break out of it. And the breakout could be to the upside because don't forget we have Trump's inauguration very soon. So we'll see what that leads to. So please keep that in mind. So we'll see if we can break past this resistance or not. If we lose 409, we turn back down to the lower 400s. If we could break past 420, we're looking for 424 and then 430, very close to 430 is our target to fill that gap. And if we continue from there, I would be looking for us to slowly get closer to 440 after that. So make sure you want your levels just to be safe, and we'll see what happens after that. As far as SPY goes, SPY is looking a bit more bullish. So unfortunately, and this is what I was talking about, I was worried that this would reject here and get a little bit of a dip because we were rejecting yesterday. But as soon as we opened this morning, we're gapping up and starting to go. So if SPY were to come back below 592, then we're looking for a move back down to 590. And if that fails, then yes, we're going to be dipping back down towards like the 588, 584 area. As long as we're above this trend line right over here, as long as we're above this like 593 area, we start pushing. Look at 595 as the main support. As long as that holds, this will continue to push for 598 all the way up to about 600 or above. And then we could be filling this gap up to about 600. The SPY could be looking for a breakout right here if we truly hold above this trend line. So now we're trying to hold above it. So this is a big shift. That's bullish news. The QQQ, this was rejecting yesterday, so I was a little bit worried about that. But then this morning, we're now trying to push. So as long as we're above this trend line around 517, we're looking for an attempt to get back up to 524, and eventually into the 530s to continue this squeeze. So far, the bulls have the edge. For the Russell 2000, if we hold above 226, this could also try to squeeze back up to 230 as we have that imbalance to fill. For ES, we look a bit more bullish. We're going to be looking for an attempt for 6,050. If as long as we hold above 6,000 and this trend line, 6,050 is likely coming or above. So there could be a breakout right here. But it depends on if we could hold above these key levels. If we end up rejecting, we end up losing 59.75, we turn back down, but this is favoring upside. Bitcoin looks a little bit more bullish. We got this nice double bottom. We dipped here and then we rebounded. So this target was made around 102,000. We'll have to see if we could break that. If that breaks, we're looking for an attempt to get back up towards 105,000. So I see potential in this. For individual tickers like Nvda, we are holding 133. We dipped all the way down there and then we rebounded. There's a gap down here to fill. So in case 135 fails us, we have 133 as support. But as long as we hold above 133, we could be looking for an attempt to get back up to 137. So it could be making a move like this either if we do come down to fill that gap and bounce, or if we don't do that, if we just bounce from here, it could just be on its way up, especially because Jensen Huang and Nvidia have criticized the current administration very recently. And, if they do end up easing up to the next administration, that could be bullish for them with the inauguration coming up. Apple dumped quite a bit. I hope we hold above 230 as long as it holds. We're looking for 234 as our target. For others out there, we have coin. There's a big gap here to fill. If we were to lose 286, we're looking for that gap pull back down to 281. As long as we hold above 285, with the double bottom here, we have to look for an attempt to get back up to 295 and then 300. So that could be favoring upside a little bit more. For Amazon, we look a bit more bullish. As long as we're above 221.8, we're looking for an attempt to get back up to 227.5. And if we lose 221, we're looking for a dip down. So this is still favoring upside. Meta looks a bit more bullish. We could be looking for an attempt for 625 if this breaks. If we were to lose 609, we will turn back down, but this is still favoring upside now. Microsoft needs to hold above 428. As long as we're above that, we're looking for an attempt for 432. And then Google looks a bit more bullish. If 198 breaks, we're looking for 200. So please keep those levels in mind, guys. The market is looking bullish this morning, but for Tesla, we're watching this resistance. Can we get back above 420 at the very least? And I think there's a good chance they may attempt to do this. Also, don't forget that today is the last full trading day until Trump is going to be in power. So we'll see how that ends up affecting the markets. Thank you all for listening, guys. Have a good day. Sometimes the market can make unexpected shifts. Even things that I don't expect all the time could happen. But that's why you have to be very adaptive and watch your key levels to see if we continue these moves. So watch the levels I called out. We'll hope for the best, and peace out.